How was this project presented to you?
This is my, I want to say, fifth time coming in as the Flash. So it came as like the last ones. It came in an email.
They were just like, you know what, he's done the Flash before. This is perfect.
Well, it's always exciting. You always want to be asked back. So I'm always relieved more than anything. And it's such a fun project to be a part of.
So how did this come down the chute for you?
I got a call saying, listen, we're doing the death of Superman. It's not a Batman movie, obviously, but we want to include the Justice League. We'd like to keep the continuity. Would you be interested? I said, absolutely. I mean, I don't really want anyone else playing this part in this continuity of films anyway. And just because it's Superman's movie doesn't mean I don't want to be a part of it. So, and there's still some great Batman moments in it. Even they might not be as plentiful as Clark Kent's moments, but they're still important to the Batman, Damian, and Batman's relationships to the rest of the Justice League in terms of that storyline. Yeah.
Well, I think Jerry, my husband, had already voiced Superman 5 different times at this point, so they were looking for a Lois Lane, and I guess it sort of came to them. No, he didn't nudge me. No, they came to me, and I think in a very organic way. It felt completely right. I mean, it's exciting to step into those shoes of this totally iconic character, but it was really exciting to sit there in the voice booth and flesh out this love story between Lois and Clark.
Now, Jerry said that.
I voiced Superman in a few of these DC animated films, and they said they were doing Death of Superman, and I was familiar with it from when it came out 26 years ago, and I couldn't believe that they were going to do it. And they did a great job, man. They really stayed truthful to the original, but also did their own thing, and it's great. It's a real talented group here.
Opportunity to work on Death of Superman come about.
I mean, it's not glamorous at all. I mean, a lot of it is because we make so many of these a year. That I think, we make like about 3 or 4 a year, and so it's a little bit of a pipeline kind of a thing. And so I'm more of a I don't know what you call it, like a studio director and I guess now producer. And so a lot of it is just sort of like things that sort of get lined up on a schedule, and I know what's coming down the pipe, and I know sort of what's coming up, and so it's sort of a little bit more scheduled. It's not as sort of fluid, I suppose, as that is. It's like, there's this. I mean, I do have say when it comes up, but I've known about it for a while, anyways. I guess that's the answer of it. So I know that's not a very sexy answer. So,
but with that being said, then, is there anything else you're going to be working on in the near future when it comes to the DC animated?
Yeah, I mean. I think we have a new slate for the next year, and I'm not really. I mean, it'll be announced at the panel. I'm not allowed to talk about it and stuff like that. But yeah, there's definitely in the next year I'll be doing a few of them. So,
what's your favorite part about being the Flash?
Really, the favorite part is just being able to be a part of the project as a whole. I was a big fan of the Justice League TV show growing up, so being a part of this animated feature world of the Justice League is really exciting for me. And the cherry on top is that the movies are actually really good.
Probably the food in the green room earlier. It was really good. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, every time I step in front of the mic, it's a big moment for me. I think it's a big moment for anybody who can step in front of a mic in any official capacity, any capacity at all, and say, I'm Batman. Right? So anytime I get to do that or be that, it's huge, and I never take it for granted.
I think that moment where I realized that I was playing out this childhood fantasy of this iconic character, when I was playing out this love story between Lois and Clark, I mean, I got really emotional about it. It was great.
Thank you so much.
I have to say, working with my wife. My wife, Rebecca Romaine, plays Lois, and it was really fun just hearing us both up there and seeing us both up there. It was really cool.
Did you ever bicker at home and you were like, you didn't do this right, we were in the studio?
We didn't like bicker, but it's emotional. This Death of Superman gets a little emo toward the end, and spoiler alert, things happen. You can look at the title, and it was pretty It was pretty emotional. It was it's an emotional film.
You know, I mean, I think it was actually working with. I think in general too, just as far as like stories I'm more interested in now, is relationship sort of elements, and I think in this story we had a lot more time sort of developing who Clark Kent is, you know, and you know, his relationship with you know, I don't know, this is a spoiler, but with Lois, you know, I know because we've set up that him and Superman and Wonder Woman were together, but it's with Lois now. And I think really just exploring sort of like, you know, who he is, you know, dealing with his identity and sort of like, you know, being in a close relationship and sort of sharing some of his secrets and stuff like that. So I think it's the emotional element of it I was very intrigued with, as far as like how we're going to navigate that, you know, and then building to sort of this, you know, thing of like basically when he's about to give his secret or whatever, then he has to basically save the planet type of thing. So
Really good.
There are at this point 4 or 5 different iterations of Flash. You got the comic, the TV show, the movie. What do you feel makes your Flash so special?
Well, I've heard people say that it's the best Flash. I wouldn't say that personally.
That's like saying Kevin Conroy isn't the best Batman. It's true, damn it.
No, I don't know. I honestly, like, I don't think you can really compare. They're completely different animals, all of them. I think the through line is that the character is really fun, and an integral part of the Justice League and that whole DC universe.
And of course, are you going to be doing any future projects with DC Animation?
Well, we have the second part of this film that's coming out early next year, so that's the next one. And then just personally, I have a Netflix show called Insatiable that's coming out on August 10th.
Awesome. Thank you so much. But with that being said, then, is there anything else you're going to be working on in the near future when it comes to the DC animated?
yeah, I mean, I think we have a new slate for the next year, and I'm not really. I mean, it'll be announced at the panel. I'm not allowed to talk about it and stuff like that. But yeah, there's definitely in the next year I'll be doing a few of them. So.
How is this going to differ from Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, where Superman dies?
You know, I'm going to tell you, because Death of Superman is such an iconic sort of story that's been told, that people are familiar with, it's almost like we're like in the DC animated world, we're like doing one of the classics. You know, it's really a classic, and we really, pun intended, I really think that we did it justice.
I'm Jason O'Mara, and I'm Batman. And you're listening to the Comics After Dark podcast.